Welcome to IELTS Academy 9. I'm Yusr. And if you are struggling with writing a formal and eye-catchy introduction for your essay in IELTS Task 2, this video will give you different phrases to use which will definitely improve your band score. Therefore, what you need to do is to watch the video till the end, as it has examples from actual tests which will help you to use these phrases professionally. And now, let's get started. The first phrase is, "It is generally accepted that." But before we move to details, you should know that first, you need to read the prompt of the question carefully. And second, you should identify the sentence to use in your introduction. The third, and most importantly, you should never copy the exact sentence. On the contrary, you should paraphrase it using your own language. Let me show you how we do this. Here, as you can see, is the prompt, the question itself, and I highlighted the sentence that I'm going to use in my introduction with this phrase. Let's read it together. Nowadays, people are spending increasingly large amounts of money on their marriage parties. Many people feel large and expensive weddings cause problems for the bride and groom. Do you agree? Use personal examples in your response. Do you agree? And use personal examples is the body, so I'm not going to speak about it today. My focus is the introduction. The introduction or this topic means that people are spending a lot of money on their weddings, and this causes a lot of problems for the husband and wife. Let's see my introduction. Currently, marrying couples often aspire to throw lavish wedding receptions with which to celebrate their union. It is generally accepted that excessive spending on marriage celebrations can cause issues for new husbands and wives. As you can see, the first sentence here in my introduction is a broad or general sentence on the topic itself, and I use synonyms to speak about this topic. For example, instead of nowadays, I use the word currently, and instead of people, I use marrying couples because I know that these people are married. Spending increasingly large amounts of money, I use the word lavish because it means expensive, and instead of marriage parties, I use wedding receptions. The second sentence that refers to the problems caused by spending a lot of money is the sentence where I use the phrase, "It's generally accepted that." Excessive spending on marriage celebrations, so instead of the word weddings, I can use also marriage celebrations. And instead of the word problems, I have issues, and I use husbands and wives for bride and groom. So as you can see, I still have the same meaning, the introductory sentences with the phrase, which is formal and excellent to have in your introduction, and I write the introduction in my own language using different synonyms. Now let's move to another phrase with another question to practice more. The second phrase is something, or the topic is one of the heated issues, means one of the issues that people argue on a lot. Now let's read the prompt and identify the sentence that I'm going to use in my introduction. In many countries, young children are looked after during the day while their parents go to work. In a sense, they are raised by guardians and not their biological parents. What's your opinion of this family arrangement? This is the part where I'm going to use in my introduction, and it means that children are cared for by different people, not their biological parents. What's your opinion about this? Now let's read my introduction. In many countries, children are cared for by daytime guardians while their parents work to build careers. Therefore, being raised by guardians and not their biological parents is one of the heated issues. As you can see, the first sentence here is the sentence on the topic, and I use synonyms. Cared for instead of looked after, to be taken care of, and instead of while their parents go to work, I use while their parents work to build careers. And then I almost repeat the same idea, that being raised by guardians and not their biological parents is one of the heated issues. Now let's move to the third phrase. It's argued that. It's argued that means we have different opinions or people have different ideas or thoughts on the topic. Let's read the prompt. Men and women employed in full-time jobs should share the responsibilities of household chores. Do you agree or disagree? Share relevant personal experiences. I think this is easy because it's only one sentence, and it means that men and women work, they have their jobs, and they should share the house chores or the domestic responsibilities together. Now let's read my introduction. With women demonstrating their ability to perform just as well as men, it's no wonder that more and more men are taking the responsibilities of domestic life. It is argued that all household chores should be distributed equally between dual income couples. And here, because I'm only given one sentence in the prompt, I tried to write an introductory sentence, a more general sentence on the topic itself. And this sentence means that women are demonstrating their ability to perform well and to have their jobs, and that's why they are equal to men, and both of them should have the same responsibilities at home. And then the second part, it's argued that household chores should be distributed equally. Both of them should have the same responsibilities. So now let's see the synonyms I use in order to have my own introduction. Instead of the word should share the responsibilities, instead of should share, I use, for example, should be. For the responsibilities, should be distributed equally. Distribute equally means both of them should share the responsibilities. I still have the word household chores because it's a key word, and sometimes I refer to it as domestic life because domestic life means family life or life at home. So as you see, I don't have to change every single word and use synonyms. Sometimes the word is okay, but we paraphrase, like I use my own structure or my own sentences. I don't copy the exact sentence from the prompt. Let's move to a different phrase. It's widely believed that. It means like it's generally accepted or many people believe that. Now let's read the prompt. Nowadays, we see an increase in social problems involving teenagers. Many people believe that it's because parents spend more time at work and less with their children. Do you agree or disagree? Here is the part I'm going to use in my introduction. And this means that teenagers are having more and more problems because the parents are at work and they are spending less time with their kids. Let's see my introduction. Nowadays, it's increasingly common for both parents to work in order to provide their children with their pressing needs. It is widely believed that the social problems that many teenagers experience are the direct result of their parents' busy schedules. Here is my general sentence on the topic, that it's very common that parents work in order to provide their children with their needs. And after that, I use the part in the prompt with it's widely believed that. Social problems that many teenagers experience, I use the verb experience to show that this is the experience they go through, is the direct result of their parents' busy schedule. So here in the prompt, I have that their parents spend more time at work. So I use here the expression their parents have busy schedules. So as I told you, I don't have to use synonyms for every single word. Rather, I use my own language so I can change the whole introduction or write it in different structures. Let's move to the fifth and last phrase here. It's a little bit long. Recently, the issue of the topic itself has been brought into focus, which means that attention is paid for this topic. Let's read the prompt. Some people think that the government should provide assistance to all kinds of artists, including painters, musicians, and poets. However, other people think that this is a waste of money. Discuss both views and give your opinion. And this is the part I'll use in my introduction, which means that some people believe that the government should help artists, while others believe it's a waste of time and it's not the role of the government to assist these artists. Now let's see my introduction. Art is a cultural aspect that reflects the greatness of any nation, and artists are the ones who create it. Recently, the issue of whether the government should provide its country's artists assistance or not has been brought into focus. The first sentence, I made it all. It's not in the prompt. I created an introductory sentence, which means that art itself is an aspect of culture and it shows the greatness of the nation. After that, I used the same sentence in the prompt with a change in the structure. So let's read it again. Art is a cultural aspect that reflects the greatness of any nation, and artists are the ones who create it. Recently, the issue here means whether the government should help the artists or not has been brought into focus. So recently, the issue of whether the government should provide its country's artists assistance or not has been brought into focus. So to wrap up, these phrases are excellent to use in your introduction in order to show that you understand the question very well, and they show that your level of writing is advanced. And these phrases are formal, so this means that you provide a formal piece of writing. Another thing which is very important is that you need to write your own introduction, either through using synonyms for the words given, or you change the whole sentence and write it in your own language. So this was like a short practice on using these phrases. Try to use them in some introductions and write your comments. Show me your introductions in the comments, and I'm going to help you and correct your mistakes. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to watch all my new videos. You can also join my Telegram channel. I leave you the link in the description box in order to practice more and download free PDFs. Thank you.